Hello, hi, a very happy good evening. So this is Krishnaveni and we've been talking about the story of life on earth, and that's biology. So welcome to my lecture. So today we're talking about the human brain, part of neural control and coordination, which comes under your human physiology in class level. So thank you so much for joining my class today. So please don't forget to like, share and subscribe. For all those who are new to my session, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, I teach a class 12 topic. Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, I teach a class 11 topic. Come on, quickly share the link with your friends so we can quickly start with your brain. So before we go into brain, in lecture 1, we were talking about the structure of neuron and how conduction happens across the length of the neuron. So today we will talk about how transmission of impulse happens. So then we move into the structure of brain, and we'll also talk about what is reflex arc and what is reflex action. Okay. Hi Antonia B. Yes, a very good evening. So thank you so much for joining my lecture. So please do like, share and subscribe. I hope your preparation is going on well. Yes. So we are almost in the 5th of August today. So hardly you can say you only have a month and not more, not less. So September 12 is your exam. So please stay focused. So please stay determined and please don't lose confidence. So everything is important. So stay focused. That's all I could tell you. So don't indulge in negative thinking. So stay positive as well. And last but not the least, stay healthy. That's very important. The monsoons are here. The climate is changing. It's unpredictable. So people say the third wave is also going to come. So please stay safe. That is very important. Irrespective of your preparation, your health should be the first priority, because once health is gone, nothing is left. Okay. Yes, Swami. Hello. Hi. A very happy good evening. Thank you so much for joining my session. Due to net issues, that's fine, Antonia B. No issues. Hi, Keshav. Yes, how are you doing? Yes, Swami. I'm good. Thank you. How are you? Hi, Shimpi. Yes, a very happy good evening. I'm good. Thank you. How are you? How is Munna? Yesterday, you got 39 right out of 40. Great. Hi, Sriram. Yes, welcome to my session. So, thank you for joining my session. So, please do like, share and subscribe. Okay, you got 39 out of 40 correct out of 40 questions. That is fantastic, which means you're revising properly. Very good. So, today we will revise the concepts of transmission of impulse across a neuron. Transmission is between two neurons and conduction is within a neuron, right? So, then we'll also talk about the structure of brain and what is reflex arc and reflex action. Okay? Yes. So, I hope it's not raining in your place. Even if it's raining, take ample precautions because your exams are nearing. So, even if you have no exams, don't give an opportunity to fall sick. So, stay strong because you don't know how things will turn around and what the new strain of virus has in store for us. So, please stay safe. Yes, Lokesh sir, thank you so much for joining a session. So, please do like, share and subscribe. Can I do better than suggestions to improve myself more? So, do fine revision. So, you got one question wrong, right? So, you got 39 out of 40. So, that one question wrong, where did you go wrong? Analyze yourself. So, when you're improving, make sure every time you get smarter in your improvement. So, every time you're revising, make sure you analyze the concepts properly and you solve questions much faster, much quicker. So, never go out of lane. For example, today you are revising something, so you are done revising the entire NEET syllabus, say for example. So 2 days you take rest and then you come back into track. That is difficult. So every day, please keep in touch. So don't leave a single day excuse saying today I'm not revising. No, every day keep in touch with your syllabus. That will enhance your neurons to remember the concept stronger. Okay. Yes, Sanjeevani, a very happy good evening. Thank you for joining my lecture. So please do like, share and subscribe. Yes, non-myelinated is found in the gray matter of your cerebral cortex. Yes, absolutely right. Very good, Swami. Okay. So here we move forward with the neural control and coordination. So this is lecture 2 of the chapter. So this is the announcement for tomorrow. So tomorrow at 5 p.m. we are once again meeting. We are talking about sexual reproduction in flowering plants because last week our lecture was halted. Our lecture was called off because I was busy with something else. So we'll continue that lecture tomorrow. So I'll finish off this chapter. So this is also a very important chapter which you should study. So don't leave anything in choice because the competition this year will be pretty high because all the students were at home. So people have been preparing for so many years together, right? So almost for months together. Imagine those repeaters. So they would have prepared for years together. Imagine 12th pass students, they would have also put in a lot of hard work. So your competition is higher. So understand where you stand in the competition. So please purchase mock test series, start solving all the 3 subjects together. See where you stand in those 3 hours. So in 3 hours, physics, chemistry, biology, where you stand. So that is very, very important. So how much questions are you able to solve? How many are you able to do it right? So what is your rank? So please do that. Okay. Yes. Hi Naveen. Yes. Hello. Welcome. Thank you so much. So please do like, share and subscribe. So corona is in peak here. Please stay safe. Okay. Yes. Yes. Seriously, we all have to stay safe. We don't know how the 3rd wave will turn into. Yes. Okay. So here we move forward. So lecture 2 of neural control and coordination. So we have been talking about the neural system. So how neural system started off in Hydra, and how in cockroaches, and how in higher vertebrates. So then we went on to talk about the human neural system, the CNS and the PNS. So various classifications of the PNS as well. So then we went on to talk about neuron, the structural and functional unit. So today we'll talk about the central unit and reflex action, reflex arc. So if time permits, we'll start with the eye. Otherwise, we'll continue eye on Saturday. So we'll be done with this chapter. Okay. So here we move forward, giving you a quick recap of what we read in the previous lecture. We were talking about the neural system. So how did it all start? So neural system started with your Hydra. So how is it? So Hydra comes under which phyla? Are you able to remember? So Hydra comes under your phylum Coelenterata. So this has a network of neurons. So how about your insects? They have ganglion cells, right? So moving further, how about higher vertebrates? So we have nervous system, right? So this is how it went forward. So now talking about the human nervous system. So human nervous system is divided into your CNS, your PNS, central nervous system, peripheral nervous system. Yes, absolutely right. It belongs to the phyla Coelenterata and its binomial name is Adamsia. So it is also known as, no, Adamsia is different. Okay. So you can say Adamsia C anemone. Okay. In human, which type of muscles are excitable? Cardiac muscles are excitable. So only when cardiac muscles are myogenic, right? They are auto-excitable. So they transmit the impulses through your bundle of His, Purkinje fibers, etc. Okay, Kesha? Fine. So your CNS includes your brain and your spinal cord. Yes. And your PNS, that is peripheral nervous system, has 2 types. One is afferent fibers, one is efferent fibers. So afferent fibers bring information from the sense organs to the brain. So it is also known as sensory neurons. Okay. So what is efferent? It carries information from the brain to the sense organs. So it is known as motor neuron. Fine. Tamil Saran, hello, hi, welcome to my lecture. So you're new to my lecture, so welcome, and please do like, share and subscribe. We are talking about a recap of the human nervous system. Okay, so apart from this, it has 2 other classification also. One is somatic nervous system and the other one is autonomous nervous system, autonomic nervous system. So somatic is when it's associated with the skeletal muscles and autonomic is when it's associated with the involuntary organs. So here it is further divided into sympathetic nervous system and the other one is parasympathetic. So these 2 are always opposite in action. Like for example, your sympathetic increases your heartbeat and it actually increases your cardiac output. So this decreases your heartbeat and this decreases your cardiac output. So these two actually works opposite to each other. Fine? Yes? Please say your coaching online app. So this is eCareerPoint app. So that is the app, but this channel is eCareerPoint-English medium channel. This is in YouTube. Okay? Fine. So this is the elaborate network of the human nervous system. So now we went on to talk about your CNS. So in CNS we are talking about we are talking about brain, but brain has the basic and the structural unit, that is your neuron. So next we went on to talk about the structure of your neuron. So what is the structure of your neuron? The structural and functional unit of brain. So here I draw a structure of your neuron. Yes. So here I have short branch dendrites. Right. So this is the structure of my neuron. So here I name the parts of the neuron. So this is cyton, or it is also known as cell body. So this is number 1. Number 2 is dendrite. And number 3 is axon. Fine. So cyton, a cell body, involves a cytoplasm, a nucleus, and it also involves Nissel's granules. Okay. So dendrites, they are short branched fibers. Okay, this transmits impulses towards the cell body, and they also have Nissel's granules. Fine. So this is the first two. Now talking about your axon. Your axon is an unbranched filament. Okay. So the point on the cyton from where your axon arises is known as axon hillock. So this end part is known as axon terminal. So it has knob-like structures known as synaptic knob. So synaptic knob consists of vesicles. So inside the vesicles you have neurotransmitters. The axons are covered by a fatty sheath which is known as myelin sheath. So this one is known as your myelin sheath. So myelin sheath is secreted by schwann cells in your central nervous system and oligodendrocytes in your peripheral nervous system. Okay. So this is about the structure of your axon. So you should know what is myelin sheath. So myelin sheath is secreted by what is known as schwann cells. This is also important. This is the structure of your neuron. Yes, we spoke about many types of neuron. So what are the different types of neuron? So we have unipolar, we have bipolar, and we have multipolar neurons, right? So unipolar is when it has only one axon. Yes, so this is seen in the embryonic stages. So bipolar is when it has one axon, one dendrite, and it is seen in the retina of the eye. So this has one axon and many dendrites or more than 2 dendrites, and it is seen in the cerebral cortex. Yes, all these we discussed. Fine. Ma'am, some potential are created while transmitting impulses. What creates that potential? So that potential is created by the ion channels present on the membrane. Okay. So myelin sheath acts as an insulator. It prevents the leakage of impulses during conduction. So the impulse moves across the length of the axon. So myelin sheath prevents the leakage of the impulse through the conduction process. Okay. So after this we spoke about conduction and transmission. So first I will talk about what is conduction. So the membrane of the axon is known as axoplasm. The membrane of the axon is known as axoplasm. So the plasma membrane of the neuron is known as axolemma, and the cytoplasm of the neuron is known as axoplasm. Okay, so this is the same thing. Fine. Okay, so now when the membrane is resting, when the neuronal membrane is resting, it is polarized. So polarized means it has charge. So where does this charge come from? So this charge comes from ion channels which is present on this membrane. So these ion channels are extremely selective. They do not allow all ions to pass through, only certain ions to pass through. They are selectively permeable. Okay? Yes. So these ion channels cause more amount of negative charge on the outer side and positive charge on the outer side and negative ions on the inner side. They also cause more amount of Na plus ions on the outer side and permeability of K plus ions on the inner side. Thus, there is a difference in concentration. This forms a gradient. This forms a difference in concentration or charge. This is your gradient. So this gradient is mainly due to Na plus K plus ion channels. For every 3 plus K Na plus outside, you have 2 K plus moving inside the cell. So that is why the membran or the axonal membrane is polarized. Okay. Is the first part clear to everyone? Yes, no doubt? Okay. So now moving further, so we were talking about how conduction of impulse happens. So conduction of impulse is how the information, so the informations, for example, information in the neuron is your impulse. It is in the form of impulse. This is the impulse moving along the neuron. Impulse along the neuron. Along the length of the axon is known as impulse. Sorry, that is known as conduction. So your axon is a long fiber, right? So your impulse has to move inside this fiber. So this process is known as conduction of impulse. Okay? So this is my axon. So here it has to move. So how it happens? So first one, initially the axonal membrane is at rest. That is, the axoplasm is at rest. Right? So here it has on the outer side, it has positive charge and it has Na plus ions. On the inner side, it has negative charge and it has K plus ions. Right? Okay. So this potential energy across the resting axonal membrane is known as resting potential. So there is some potential difference present in your resting membrane, that is your resting membrane potential. The value is minus 70 millivolt. Clear? Yes? Fine. Now, if I give a stimulus at this point, the membrane permeability changes. So when I give an impulse, suppose let's mark this region as A, this region as B. Okay. So if I give a stimulus at A, so what happens? The membrane permeability changes. So when membrane permeability changes, so Na plus moves inside the cell. Thus, the inner side has more amount of positive ions. But this is very short-lived. So, to restore the membrane potential, of the membrane, so your K plus ions move outside. So, now the potential difference at point A is known as your action potential. So thus the impulse passes from here to here. So on the outer side it moves in this direction. So ultimately impulse reaches the axon terminal. So this is your conduction of impulse. Is this clear to everyone? So everyone understood what is conduction of impulse? Yes? So you should know what is resting membrane potential, what is action potential, what happens in these two conditions. Now can we talk about transmission of impulse? Yes? Clear everyone? Okay. So let's talk about transmission of impulse now. So what is transmission? So transmission of impulse is passing or transferring the impulse. So this is passing of impulse between two neurons. Okay. So this is done through junctions, which is known as synapses. Suppose if you want to take a connected train, you go to a bigger junction. For example, you go to Bangalore, so that is a connecting junction. You go to Delhi station, that is a connecting junction. For so many places, you can take train from there, right? So this is also connected with the help of junctions, which are known as synapses. Okay. So you have one neuron here and you have another neuron here. So the membrane of this neuron is known as presynaptic neuron, because this is first. This is known as postsynaptic neuron. Okay. So these two synapses can or cannot have a gap. The gap is known as synaptic cleft. So the pre and the postsynaptic membrane may or may not be separated by a gap, that is known as synaptic cleft. Okay. So there are two types of synapses, to be very precise. So we have two types of synapses. The first type of synapse is electrical synapse. The next type of synapse is chemical synapse. So for your electrical synapse, the presynaptic membrane and your postsynaptic membrane are very close together. So this transmission of impulse is very, very quick. So this is similar to the conduction of impulse along the axon. So in axon, the impulse passes very quickly, right? So the same way, so this is also similar to the conduction of impulse along the axon. So this is much faster, quicker, but this is very, very rare. Okay? So the most common one is your electrical synapse. So electrical synapse, they have what is known as synaptic cleft. Okay? So it is like this. So this is my one neuron. So this is my axon terminal, the synaptic knob, etc. So here I have the next dendrite. Right? So this space is my synaptic cleft. So in my chemical synapse, here chemicals are released, which is known as neurotransmitters. How? Let's see. So when the impulse reaches the axon terminal, so this is my axon terminal. Okay. So this is my presynaptic neuron. So this is my postsynaptic neuron. So, when my impulse reaches the axon terminal, what happens? The synaptic knobs are stimulated. The synaptic knobs get activated. So, these release the vesicles. These vesicles now fuse with the plasma membrane of the presynaptic neuron. So, here I have a membrane, right? So, it fuses with the plasma membrane of the presynaptic neuron. Then it releases neurotransmitters. So, these neurotransmitters go and bind to the receptors on the postsynaptic neuron. So, here I have receptors. So, the neurotransmitters go and bind to the receptors on the postsynaptic neuron. Okay. So, once this binds, it opens the ion channels on the neural membrane. So, once again, then conduction starts. So, the impulse has to move along the length of the axon. Then again, transmission continues. So, this neurotransmitter can be excitatory or inhibitory. So, this can be an excitatory neurotransmitter or it can be an inhibitory neurotransmitter. Is this clear? The structure of the neuron, the types of neuron, what is conduction of impulse and what is transmission of impulse? Is this clear to everyone? Yes, no doubts? Very clear? So, shall we move with the structure of the brain now? Yes. So, please never make a mistake in this. Done? No doubts at all? Clear? Can I move forward? Can I move forward? Okay. So, super flow chart. Alright, thank you. So, we will talk about the structure of brain. So, does all of you have brain here? Okay, so this is the slide that is written. So, this is my synaptic vesicle. So, this entire thing is my synaptic knob. So, the vesicles are released. It fuses with the plasma membrane. Then it releases the neurotransmitter. Okay. So, neurotransmitters then go and bind with the receptor of the next neuron. Okay. That is the postsynaptic membrane. And then it initiates action potential inside that. Okay. So, my flow chart is looking very beautiful. Okay, fine. So, now moving on to the structure of your CNS. So, CNS includes your brain, right? So, we are going to talk about the structure of your brain. Ready? Yes? Okay. Structure of brain, it's enough if you stick only with your NCERT, nothing more is needed. So, brain has many functions. It is the control center, or the center command or the command center of the body, you can say anything. But for all of us, this command center does not work, right? So, when needed, it does not work. So, that is why we are becoming fools. Otherwise, all of us would have had enough common sense, right? So, if at all this control system works, then everyone would become Einstein. But trust me, Einstein also didn't use 100% of his brain. He only used 7% of his brain. If Einstein himself used only 7% of the brain and he looked extremely intelligent, so then what if we use 100% of the brain? That is also risky. Using only this much percent of the brain, we have harmed at least 95% of the earth and the natural resource. So, if human uses all the 100%, then where will we land up? So, it is good as well as bad, right? But yes, you can use your brains in terms of common sense. But what is actually important? It is not that you should be very intelligent. Your IQ level is important. Yes, I agree. That is in terms of your academics. That shows how good you are in each aspect. But one more thing is very important in life. Presence of mind. So, many of us are lost in our own world. So, we do not have the presence of mind. So, if you have presence of mind, that is common sense, right? So, how to improve presence of mind? That can be easily done. Don't worry. So, this is the topic for the next motivational session, how to be present at the moment. So, how to have presence of mind, how to use common sense. Okay? Yes? Okay, hold on for it and stay tuned for the next motivational session. So this is about the brain. So let's move forward and see. So central nervous system. So the brain is the command and the control system of your body. It controls voluntary movements. Yes, if I want to move this hand, yes, it is because of the brain I am moving. It's not only because of my limbs. It is connected with the brain as well. Okay. So balance of the body functionings of balance of body functioning. It is balance of the body, functioning of vital involuntary organs like my kidney, heart, etc. So thermoregulation, it maintains the temperature. Wow, Pooja, hello. So you are here in the right time. Okay, when is the motivational session? I will let you know soon. But this is the topic of the motivational session. Okay. Hello, Pooja. I hope you're doing good. Okay, fine. So thermoregulation. So in Kota, it is raining heavily. So it is literally cold at night. So though the outside temperature is say around 22 degrees, my body temperature is maintained at 37 degrees. That is because of the thermoregulation done by my hypothalamus. Okay. So then hunger and thirst. Yes, when it rains, we feel hungry. So that is because the digestive receptors are turned on and my thermoreceptors also induce them. That is depending on the temperature. Circadian rhythms, the day and night cycle. So if you are a person who sleeps at 10 in the morning and wakes up at 5, you can look into your mother. So always she wakes up in the morning. She cannot sleep more. Even if one day you give her extra time, she cannot. She will wake up. So sometimes on Sunday you want to sleep till 10, but your eyes open at 7 because you're used to going to school at 7. So that is the day and night cycle in your body. That is your circadian rhythm. And then the human behaviors. How crucially we behave, how beautifully we behave. So wonderful human behavior, gentlemen, human behaviors are gone. So we are becoming more of animal-like and animals are become more human-like, right? So human behaviors. So whenever someone scolds you as a donkey, please feel privileged. He's not scolding you as a human. Humans are more idiotic, right, these days? Fine. So let's talk about the structure of the human brain. So the human brain is well protected by the skull. I don't know if you can hear the sounds of the rain. So it is splashing outside. I can still hear the sound of rain, thunder, everything. So it is raining very ferociously in Kota. It is said that for the next 24 hours, all the regions in India will have rainfall, with the maximum being Kota. So I don't know why it's raining very heavily. It's good to see the rain, but sometimes, yes, it irritates because everywhere it is watery. It is raining for the past 7 days. So I don't know when it will stop. And the rain is not just an easy rain. Yes, it is heavy rain. So even if you have to walk for 5 minutes, you get wet completely. So such heavy rains, yes, even now I can hear the sounds. Yes, Sandhya, a very, very happy good evening. Thank you for joining my lecture. So I hope your preparations are going on well. So please do like, share and subscribe. Okay, so the human brain is protected by the skull. So inside the skull, there is a layer of connective tissue that is known as cranial meninges. So this separates the skull from the brain. Okay? Yes. So this cranial meninges has 3 layers: dura mater, arachnoid matter and your pia mater. So remember DAP. Okay? So dura mater, this is outside. So this is arachnoid matter, inner layer, and pia mater is the innermost. Okay. So your brain is divided into 3 regions. So what are the 3 regions of the brain? So forebrain, midbrain and hindbrain, right? So these are the 3 regions of the brain. So now, 3 regions of the brain. So we will talk about all these 3 regions. Okay? Yes? Yes, Antonia B, you're right. It is by the pineal gland. No rain here yet. Okay, Pooja, it is raining in Kota. It is raining in Kota, so you have classes from Kota, right? Okay, fine. So here we move forward to the human brain. It is divided into forebrain, midbrain and hindbrain. What is forebrain also known as? Yes? So we have 3 regions of the brain. The first one is forebrain. So forebrain is also known as diencephalon, right? So I have taught you cephalon is brain. Fine. So the next one is midbrain. So this is known as mesencephalon. So number 3, it is hindbrain. So this is rhombencephalon. Fine. So let's talk about the forebrain first. Okay. Hi Natasha. Hello. A very happy good evening. Thank you so much for joining my session. So please do like, share and subscribe. Ma'am, where are you from? I am from Kota. Okay. Fine. So we are talking about forebrain. So forebrain is the first part of the brain and it has 3 regions. Okay. Cephalon is head of brain. Yes, you're absolutely right. So the forebrain includes your cerebrum, your thalamus and your hypothalamus. Okay. So the largest portion or the major portion of your forebrain is occupied by your cerebrum. Okay. Yes. So a major canal or a major cleft divides the cerebrum. So cerebrum is divided by a major cleft. So thus it forms the right hemisphere and the left hemisphere. So both of these hemispheres are collected by a nerve tract which is known as, what is the nerve tract known as? Yes, any idea? So you should remember all this, right? So you should not get confused. Corpus callosum. So corpus callosum is the nerve tract here. So these two are connected by corpus callosum. Fine. So there are certain cells which cover the cerebral hemisphere. Okay. The cells that surround your cerebral hemisphere, it forms your outer region and the inner region. So the outer region is known as your cerebral cortex. So cerebral cortex has a large amount of cell bodies. So cell bodies is cyton, right? So this gives it a greyish appearance. So thus it is known as your grey matter. So cerebral cortex, cell body, that is why it is grey. So remember CCG. Cerebral cortex, cell body and it is greyish in color. Fine. So this is cerebral cortex. So what is the function of your cerebral cortex? So cerebral cortex has 3 regions. So it has sensory areas. So this is of your cerebral cortex. Okay. So sensory regions, it has sensory areas, motor areas and it has intersensory or it has association areas. So all these areas are present inside your cerebral cortex. Okay. So this is sensory, controls the sense organs. This is motor, the signals from the brain to the sense organs. And association is, it talks about intersensory associations. Communications. And to some extent memory. Okay, done. So then moving forward to your inner cerebral hemispheres. So the outer region is cortex, the inner region are cerebral hemispheres. So they have more amount of axon with myelin sheath. So they are opaque. So it is white in color. So it is known as white matter. So cerebral hemisphere has structures like amygdala or hippocampus, which helps in memory. Okay. So your cerebral cortex, it wraps around a structure that is known as thalamus. So thalamus has your motor and your sensory control. So at the foot of the thalamus, is your hypothalamus. So hypothalamus plays an important role in the control of your thirst, hunger, as well as hypothalamus regulates your body temperature. So that is thermoregulation. Fine? Yes? So this is thermoregulation. So this is about your cerebral hemisphere, your thalamus and hypothalamus. So your hypothalamus along with the cerebral hemispheres, they form deep structures known as limbic system or the limbic lobe. So these control the sexual behavior of humans, the feelings, the emotions, that is controlled by your limbic system. So these two control the emotions, the sexual behavior of humans. Done? So with this we are done talking about the forebrain. So now moving forward to the hindbrain. So corpus callosum, so this connects the right and the left hemisphere, okay? So now talking about your midbrain. So midbrain is between your thalamus or hypothalamus yes. So here I have my midbrain. Then it is between the hindbrain, especially the pons. So your midbrain is between the forebrain and hindbrain, especially between the thalamus or hypothalamus and here in the pons. Okay? Fine. So your midbrain has a canal passing through it. So that is known as cerebral aqueduct. The dorsal portion of these canals have swollen structures like this, that is known as corpora quadrigemina. Fine. So this is about your midbrain. So now talking about the last part of the brain, that is the hindbrain, which is known as rhombencephalon. So this also has three parts. The three parts are cerebellum, you have pons and you have medulla. So cerebellum is the largest portion or the major portion. So this has more amount of surface area so that it can accommodate more neurons. So this is about your cerebellum. Fine. The next one is pons. So pons is made up of nerve fibers. So this helps in interconnecting the different regions of the brains. So this interconnects different regions of the brains. So the last one is medulla oblongata. So medulla oblongata connects the brain to the spinal cord. So this is the connecting link. So medulla also has centers like your hunger, your digestive centers, your you can say your circulatory centers, your respiratory centers. So there is no circulatory center, so it is myogenic. You have your respiratory center. It has digestive center, respiratory center, etc. Okay. So your midbrain, pons, medulla, this forms your brain stem. Is this clear to everyone? Yes? Is this clear? Any doubt till this? If you have any doubt, please ask. So these three makes up the brain stem. So this is the structure of the brain. Okay. Good evening, ma'am. This is Karthikeyan. I am actually an MPC guy, but I like your teaching. Okay, you are a math student, so I am listening to your class. That's absolutely nice. So thank you so much for this compliment. Thank you so much for joining our lecture. So please do like, share and subscribe, Karthikeyan, and all the very best for your exam. Okay, our ma'am is rocking. Okay, so with this we are done with the structure of the brain. I hope you understood the structure of neuron, conduction, transmission and the structure of brain. Yes? So we will stop here. We will talk about reflex action and reflex arm in the next lecture. Is that fine? Yes, anyways, we have to talk about eye and ear. It is not possible right now. So we will do that after or in the next lecture. Okay? Is that fine? Okay, so please prepare well and join me for tomorrow's lecture at 5 p.m. We are talking about sexual reproduction in flowering plants. So if you genuinely liked my way of teaching, so please do like, share and subscribe. And this is me wishing you more and more. So stay tuned, stay healthy, stay safe as well. I'm waiting to meet you tomorrow. So bye-bye and good night.